Okay, well, thanks very much for rejoining us. This next section we're very excited about. It's the culmination of a lot of work from the team. It's the launch of version 3 of our platform. For existing clients, you'll see updated dashboards. There's a ton of enhancements that we've made to the experience, largely focused on the LP. There's a ton of development at the back end of this, which we'll be happy to take you through in a demonstration outside. But I'm going to invite Matt Nelson to the stage. Matt, as I mentioned earlier, is out there day after day with clients. Many of you will be familiar with Matt, taking feedback on the product. He is the conduit, one of those rare people who understands the business processes, but can also translate into technical requirements for our development team, the requirements of our clients. And so much, if not all, of what you'll see here today, Matt has touched and has been responsible for defining the requirements for. But there is a whole team of people, many of whom are not here today. Our development center in Dublin, Ireland, our classmates over there. We want to congratulate them on a job well done. Hopefully you guys like what you see here. They are just renderings. Nothing beats a live demo. So whether you schedule something after the fact or you want to get in front of our team today, we'd invite you to do that. But with that, I'm going to pass you over to Matt, who's going to share some of the enhancements in version 3.
Thank you, Ferdy. Good morning, everyone. Definitely proud to be here today to share the hard work of the team. I think this morning we outlined some of the visions and themes of today, going through and echoed again in the power panel today. That gives you an idea of what we think, of what we believe, and what we're going to be able to do today to show you what we've done, the actions we've taken to be able to make the vision a reality. So for those of you who are new to our team, just learning about asset class, I'm going to share some of the new releases we have, new features we have, take you through a suite of our products, and again, these are all available for you to have a hands-on interaction with outside of our demo tables. So today we're going to begin with, if I can figure this out here, sorry. If we can begin with the most conspicuous and visible portion of our solution, the investor portal. This is a shot of version 3 of our asset class investor portal. This is the most visible piece for you. This is the face of your fund, your connection to the investment community, an opportunity for you to put a premium white glove treatment to your investors. This features a complete overhaul, modern design and look, and from the technical side, this includes an updated style guide, so we can include all your branding, as well as a new visualization engine that allows us to render in-depth graphics and really to be able to show all the rich data that's generated from our platform. From the functional side, we've reorganized the overall layout to make it easy for the investor to figure out what needs attention or what they should do next. There are dedicated components for each of the key elements of the life cycle. You have instant access to your investment portfolio, as well as calling attention to key elements of the life cycle, including recent distributions, capital call notifications, and making documents available right where you need them. There's utilities to be able to download the documents in mass. And one thing you'll hear me say again and again, the investor portal, it's also important to note that it's not just for your LPs, your investors. They are able to invite or delegate access to accountants, lawyers, et cetera, for them to be able to go in, self-serve, and assist their clients. One of the key areas is the investment area. We want to be able to organize and improve the investment management tools for your LPs. So you'll be able to see here, we have a new and an innovative, good-looking, modern, clean investment cards here. Each one of these representing an investment that the investor has made. You'll see there's filtering tools, so they'll be able to isolate the exact portfolio and view it the way that they want it. And in addition, we're able to go through and provide, excuse me, a pivoted view. So if you have brokers, RIAs, et cetera, who have a large portfolio of business, to be able to see all those images instantly. One key innovation in the current release is support for, let's say, not in good order or enabling the investor to pause their investment as they go through the subscription process. So they'd be able to stop and start. So they'll be able to stop and pause their information where maybe they don't have all the information on hand, and they'll be able to go through and gather and complete their investment at a later stage. One of the key things to know about these tiles and these cards is that underneath them is they're smart tiles and that there's a world underneath them. So if we take a drill down ability to go in and view the details of the offering, you'll be able to see our deal room. So this is basically a detailed view of the investment. Be able to see some of the metrics that we're able to expose to be able to give your investors that complete transparency, the updates of the performance, everything they're able to see all in one screen, neat and clean. So again, to go through some of the key benefits, if you're an investor, we'll be able to go through and have that premium investor experience for you. Again, this is the public view face of your funds. It's going to be that connection to your investor. We talk about that next-gen investor. So with one link, you're going to be able to go through and bring your LPs, your investor, that whole investor community into your cycle, into your branding. And overall, better organized, putting first things first, and making it easy to find out what to do. In addition, here to the investment management pieces, we've improved the overall onboarding experience. So here, these are your funds presented your way. So you have total control over what you see here. These are fund offering cards for your fund items. We're able to go through and put notifications to let people know that there's new offerings, or perhaps as it evolves in the life cycle to kind of nudge them saying, hey, these things are expiring, to try to go through and promote that urgency for someone to place the investment. And again, one thing in this version 3 is that you, as the fund, will have total control over all the elements that you see here. Each of those figures, you're able to configure through a menu-based configuration. So you're in total control over how you present your funds, not only from the branding experience, but from the information that you are displaying. So the idea here is that you'll be able to tell the whole story of our offerings in terms of where they are in the life cycle early on. This would be, what our projected return is, when we're expected to close, and then later, as it evolves in the life cycle, you'll be able to show metrics like, the returns that are actually coming, distributions, rate of returns, as the process goes on. Again, each of these tiles, as we go into it, is a smart tile. So there's a drilling capability. If you go in to click and view the offering, you have your own smart deal room or classroom where the investor is able to go in and self-educate on the information. So all the information that you see here, you're able to configure and put the content, again, as it evolves through the life cycle. We've added some features to allow you to put videos. So again, not only during the offering phase where you might be saying what our plan is and how are things going to work out, but later as it evolves in the life cycle, you'll be able to post fund updates, again, talking about that transparency, the reporting, be able to show the asset performance, and again, any videos that you want to recap for a webinar type experience. Also, at Asset Class, we always want to make it easy for you to invest. So there's a improved and streamlined offering process. This kind of one-click investment. So if we click on the investment, you'll be able to see streamlined investment flows, smart reuse of data, as well as the capability to execute the legal subscription documents right in the browser and right in the system. So again, key points for the fund manager, again, having relationship management, again, reaching those next-gen investors, being able to go through and manage the ongoing relationship throughout the release of the fund, making it easier for you to communicate to your investors, doing so in a compliant and secure manner. So again, all those deal rooms, we're going through and tracking who's allowed to be in there. We're recording that you're in there. One thing I didn't mention, an innovation that as the investors are going through and viewing your offerings, we're capturing all that intelligence. So your business development team is going to be able to know, hey, my client was in there last night, reviewed this fund, looked at it, got to a certain pace. So again, to try to give that nudge or help your clients along. And again, in terms of completing the investment, we talked about all this all-in-one system. We're able to go through, have the execution of the documents right delivered from the system, reusing information in a seamless process. Okay. One thing I've been highlighting about our investment in fund management, that's the one side of the house in terms of helping you raise capital for your investors and for your fund. The other piece of the puzzle, in terms of the deployment of capital and making that more efficient, we're pleased to announce that earlier this year we released a solution for deal and portfolio management. So that's going to be the other side in terms of once you've had that fundraise, how do we efficiently deploy that capital? The deal and portfolio management solution is an end-to-end solution, including your pipeline tracking, really deal to term sheet functionality. So all through the diligence process and onto the monitoring and management of the portfolio asset. All this is intended to be connected and interoperable with the investment and portfolio management side, so both sides of the house can speak to each other. Real quickly, our team has prepared an animation to show some key features of this that'll really give you some features of the solution. So I will show that now. The soothing sounds of Alan Neal. So again, I encourage you to go see and look at the hands-on demos that are available out there if you're interested, or to schedule a demo. One other area I want to mention, in addition to the improvements we've made for the investment portal, as well as the deal and portfolio management. As we've done a lot of work in integrations, it's definitely one of the benefits of being on the platform and having the open architecture, an example of the technology that we're able to bring to our clients. An example of some of those work that we've done, we'll see Invest Ready and Parallel Markets. These are both identity and accreditation services. Many of our funds are restricted by regulations on who they can invest in, that they require accredited investors. So we've worked with them and have within our integration framework to go through and automatically pull and have a portable means for your investors to take their accreditation and have that delivered automatically and synchronously again in an effort to make sure that we're all compliant and everything is straight. In terms of Plaid, we'll be going in that in a little bit of detail in a few moments here. But the news there is that they provide money movement functionality, and we're now a select transfer partner with them so that we're going to be able to digitize or automate all the funding activity, whether it be from the capital call or distribution elements, to be able to go through and move money between the fund and your investors. Fundingo, they offer loan servicing solutions. So we were able to integrate with their solution to provide clients with loan structure and interest accrual calculations. Definitely a utility for funds that are debt funds that need to go through and calculate loan payment, interest payments, interest accruals, et cetera. So definitely something nice to have in our wheelhouse there. And lastly, I want to mention the AWS and Lambda services. We use that for managing data processing with third-party partners like fund administrators and data interchange. So again, just an example of our partnerships and the ability of us to bring additional technologies to our customers on our platform. So another element we definitely want to go through are to talk about our partners. And Ferdy, you want to come up and invite our friends to the party?
Yeah, thanks very much, Matt. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's appreciate the round of applause. That's really for the entire team. I mean, there's a huge amount of work that goes into developing what you see there. What we're trying to do with version 3 of our platform is to engage those digital natives, right? The next generation of investors, to give them the ease of onboarding that you'd expect in financial services today. The expectations that we're trying to meet and that you as firms will need to meet head on is that, you know, speed is the new currency. People are used to Uber, they're used to Stream Now, they're used to instant on, right? How quickly you can meet those needs is extremely important. And so making the front end of our platform usable by your LPs is kind of the first stage of that. And I think we've taken a huge leap forward. Hopefully our existing clients will agree with us, and our prospective clients, you guys can come on board and join the mission to remove friction from that process. We're really trying to get to a stage where it's as easy to invest in private capital as it is for you to invest in an ETF. There's a huge gap, and if we're honest with ourselves, the experience right now for most companies and for most LPs is horrible. If you've ever made a private capital investment, it's extremely difficult, it's onerous, the paperwork is confusing, and there are lots of potential points of failure. We're looking to address every single one of those in the entire end-to-end process. And so to summarize what you've seen there between our investor and fund management and our deal and portfolio management is the entire process end-to-end. We can help you with your prospecting. When someone shows interest, we can help with onboarding. When they're onboarded and they want to see your fund offerings, we can permission access to the fund offerings. When they see those and they want to invest, it's one-click investing. We can make the job of creating the subscription documents seamless, reduce the NIGO errors so that when they make that investment, the documents are coming in complete and accurate. In many cases, about 70% of cases, we're pushing those documents out to funds, fund administrators like Grassi and JTC, so we can integrate with your third party, push those documents out through that AWS service that Matt mentioned. Once they've been onboarded into the fund, we give them a single pane of glass, which is that dashboard that you saw, so they can access all of the information in a fully branded environment and view their relationship in its entirety with you through that platform, through that dashboard. that's an experience that most LPs do not have in as seamless a fashion as we anticipate delivering through this platform. As we think further along in the process, you've raised the capital. We're then giving you, through deal and portfolio management, the ability to take that capital and deploy it into deals, to manage the due diligence process, the document management process, to take a deal from initial interest right through to a term sheet. And once the term sheet has been signed, giving you portfolio management tools to manage that investment, to have that portco or that asset report back on its performance, and for that performance information to flow back downstream from the portco to the fund, and from the fund to the investor. So that entire life cycle is being supported on the asset class platform, or what we called the fund operating system, Fund OS. And that's what we're demonstrating here today. So extremely proud to be able to share that with you, and grateful for the team for all of the effort that they put in over the last 9 to 12 months to help make that a reality. So hopefully you guys appreciate what you see here, and as I say, we'll be happy to share more with you. I will say that none of this is possible without our partners, and so I want to spend a little bit of time talking about those here now. So the first of which, and I'll invite our partner Salesforce to the stage. Introduce TJ Brady. TJ is manager of the global private equity practice at Salesforce. TJ, good to have you with us today. Appreciate it, you joining us. Just a little bit of background. We've built the entire platform on the Force.com platform. It's an industrial grade platform. I mean, now not just the world's largest CRM by a mile, but now the world's largest software company. It's been strategically an extremely important partnership now, and it's entering its 4th year. We have made a strategic investment in the platform. A lot of what you're seeing, the basic underlying platform, Salesforce takes care of the CRM. It gives us the tools to build on, to deliver the kinds of things that you're seeing today. Our portal technology is built on Salesforce. Our CRM capability is built on Salesforce. And we're leveraging and really stepping on the shoulders of giants, if you will, with this platform to bring the kind of experience that you're seeing in the demonstrations today. Now, when we first set out on our relationship with Salesforce, we sat down and we talked about the private capital space, the venture capital and private equity and commercial real estate space. It's a very specific space. It's a niche, and it's apparent very quickly. If you don't fully understand the space, you can come a cropper very easily. And so part of my conversation with Salesforce and sitting down with TJ's compatriots in Europe was to say, we understand the space. I came from the private equity sector with a 20-plus year history in Salesforce development. And Salesforce was a platform that I had a tremendous amount of respect for. We put the proposition to Salesforce that we would become an OEM partner. Now, that's different from a company that goes out and develops software and then integrates. It's developing natively on the platform, and that's what we did. And we spent, at this stage, tens of millions of dollars building on that platform to deliver what you've seen today. So just interested, TJ, as someone heading up the private equity sector space, can you characterize kind of how important the relationship with companies like Asset Class is to Salesforce in addressing the requirements of the sector?
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be here. I think you were touching on it, where I think a lot of the value is Salesforce is an amazing platform, an amazing ecosystem, but given its horizontal in nature, there's opportunities to develop purpose-built solutions that are addressing certain ecosystems and certain customers, and that's what Asset Class does here. So I think it's great, the collaboration we've been able to develop over the last couple of years, and be able to ride the wave of Salesforce investing billions of dollars annually in R&D in the overall ecosystem, and then having someone like yourself come in and develop purpose-built functionality and solutions for a specific end market. I actually used to work in the private equity space before joining Salesforce, and I wish we were leveraging Asset Class after watching that demo, because it would have made it a lot easier as opposed to the over-customization and configuration of the Salesforce native platform. So it's really exciting stuff, and I think you were touching on it a little as well. We spend at Salesforce a lot of our time focused on digital transformation in the portfolio companies of private equity firms, and then we're also spending more and more time focused on the digital transformation of private capital markets firms. And I think it's a space that hasn't had enough transformation, candidly, over the past 5 to 10 years. I think a lot of people in this room may be aware, but there's a lot of firms that have raised billions of dollars off Excel and pen and paper. So it's really exciting to be able to take these technologies and solutions to that side of the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is surprising when you step behind, I'm sure, anybody who's familiar, perhaps pre-asset class, of what the world is like inside many of these firms. But the use of spreadsheets, as you say, perhaps outdated CRM systems, maybe Kanban-type boards being utilized to manage these funds. The FundOS platform is designed to replace all of those, to give you a consolidated single system of truth. One of the most significant benefits of working with Salesforce, and just by way of example, we sat down about 6 months ago and started to talk about a concept which I'm going to share more detail with you guys after lunch. It's the concept of the asset class network. And so just to put it in context, if you think about a single client of ours today, a single client may bring a couple of hundred accredited investors. They may bring half a dozen or so funds to the table. That's one client. We look across our entire network of clients. We have today about 600 funds on the platform, representing just under $105 billion in AUM, about 30,000 accredited investors. And the asset class network is designed on an opt-in basis to give connectivity options to those participants. I'm going to share more detail a little bit later, but what I'll say is in sitting down with Salesforce, we had the opportunity to create from scratch a new architecture, which is unique to Salesforce, but their technical team were happy to work with us, and we're delighted to be able to share more details on it a little bit later today. But it just shows the power of the team at Salesforce and the commitment that Salesforce has to this space, that they were willing to sit down to discuss this new architecture and deliver what we'll demonstrate to you a little bit later this afternoon. And Mark Irvine, who's our head of engineering, will be sharing with you some of the work we're already doing in terms of building out that infrastructure as part of the asset class network later. But for now, TJ, I'd like to thank you for your support. We love you guys at Salesforce. We built a platform, indeed the company on it. And thanks again. Thanks. Okay, well, let's just quickly switch gears to our next partner, introduce Ginger Lemon, who's the Director of the Partner Ecosystem of Financial Services at DocuSign. Ginger, welcome on stage.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Anybody who's familiar with the platform will know that we have deeply integrated with DocuSign. Our entire e-signature process is built on DocuSign. There's a large part of our development efforts that's focused on making the job of generating the subscription documents, getting those documents out, pre-filled to LPs. It's a large part of our development efforts, and it's enabled in no small part by the ease at which we can do that from DocuSign. We're very grateful for the product that you've built and what it enables for our clients. But when we look at our base of clients, we touched in this morning's session on, I guess, the spectrum of clients or LPs. At one end of the scale, you have institutional investors who, by their very nature, when they're making investments, it's not likely an institutional investor is going to go to your site, click on the view fund offerings, register, view those offerings, and make an investment. It's far more likely that you're going to have a back and forth with that institutional investor, that contracts are going to be back and forth. There'll be red lines and iterations. There'll be side agreements, preferential treatment, which you now need to report. But ultimately, it's a far more circuitous process. Thankfully, DocuSign has a solution for that called Contract Lifecycle Management, or CLM. And so we are now in the process of deeply integrating with the CLM platform to enable not just the support of the retail end of the market, which is more straightforward. It's easy for us to take them through an onboarding process, generate the documents, and get them signed. But we'll also be able to support your institutional investors with that back and forth of the contract, that redlining, et cetera. And so Ginger, first of all, thank you for building that product and making it as easy at that end of the spectrum as it's been on the e-signature side. But interested from your perspective, given your focus on financial services, around partnerships like Asset Class and how important that is to you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Ferdy. DocuSign is known globally as the leader in e-signature, right? That's where we got our roots. And partnerships like Asset Class has helped us grow. It creates like a stickier type of seamless digital process when DocuSign e-sign is embedded into a partner application is what you see today. But there's so much more as part of the agreement process. You know, we transact billions of documents across the globe every single day. So just think about it, like when it comes to managing that contracting process and all of the oversight that goes into it, including, you know, transparency, compliance, being able to access any type of red lines, knowing egregious or risk clauses that are part of the contracting process. That is what DocuSign has today, and we're working with Asset Class to bridge that gap to make sure that it's a seamless digital process where you can access all of your documentation in one centralized location.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, Ginger. We're very grateful for the partnership. We still have a lot of work to do, but appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks
you
so
very
much.
Thanks, Ginger. Okay, and the last partner I'd like to invite on stage here from Plaid, Riley from Plaid. Welcome, Riley. Thanks for joining us. So we've got some really exciting developments when it comes to money movement on the platform, as Matt mentioned a little bit earlier. Just to kind of put this in perspective, I mean, I mentioned 105 billion in assets under management across our network of funds on the Asset Class network. And whether it's capital calls in terms of inflows of capital or distributions in terms of outflows, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for fraud to happen in that space. We certainly hear on a daily basis about potential phishing attacks in our client base. And even if our clients are secure, you're only as secure as your weakest link. And when we think about the profile of LPs across many of our clients, the average age can be in the 50s, mid-50s, 60s, and beyond. And so you have a varying degree and probably quite a long tail of pretty challenging technical infrastructure in terms of the potential for fraud to exist. And so we set about trying to address that particular challenge, and working in unison with Plaid over the last 6 months or so, and with Riley and team, we've bridged that, and we have some really exciting news to share with you today, and we'll share what that experience looks like on screen, but also happy for you to see it live in the demonstration outside. But Riley, again, in a similar vein, I should say, just before I cut to Riley here, we've partnered with the world's #1 CRM system in Salesforce, the world's #1 in e-signature. We've partnered with Plaid here as the world's #1 company with bank connectivity. And so for this money movement piece, this best-in-class solution that we're bringing to market here, it's important for us. What we're going to demonstrate today, we are the first company globally to integrate with their new transfers product. We are a transfers partner of Plaid. And we're extremely proud of the work that we've done. And so just to put it in context, Riley, when you think about the private capital space and its importance to Plaid, can you characterize that for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a super important space. As Freddie mentioned, they are first in the private capital space for our transfer money movement product. So we're very excited about that. But I think, more generally, if we look at kind of the history of the current state of affairs of private capital money movement, right? It's very manual with most of it being done via wires. as you mentioned, given the payment size, it's very ripe for fraud, right? That's where fraudsters want to go, is $1 million payments here and there. And so I think what our solution brings to asset class in the private capital space is a safe, secure, and automated money movement solution, again, over our transfer product via ACH. And so, as Ferdy mentioned, bi-directional here for both capital calls, so money being pulled in, as well as any dispersals or dividends or things that are going out as well. So we're very excited about that solution, and again, automating that. And as you mentioned kind of earlier in your intro to this session here, hopefully making money movement as easy and simple in the private capital space as possible, right? So trying to make that, as we kind of said very early on in our partnership, trying to make private capital money movement as easy as, Venmoing friends and family money, right, with that bank connectivity there. So that's our hope and goal in this partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of bring that to life a little bit, as I say, you can see the demonstration outside. But let's just cut to a couple of very quick screenshots here. When it comes to money movement, this is what the experience will look like for an investor, and hopefully you guys can see that there. So as part of our onboarding process, your LP will be presented with a screen like this, asking where they'd like money taken from or distributions paid to. They have an option to select link an account via Plaid, and this works for individual accounts as well as business accounts. They'll select link via Plaid. They'll be presented with a modal, which allows them to in turn connect to the financial institution. As I say, Plaid is the most connected company worldwide when it comes to bank connectivity. You'll select your bank. You'll log in with your normal bank credentials. And having logged in, select the account that you'd like money to be pulled from or distributions to be paid to. And that's it. It's connected. At the back end, we'll store a token on the system. You're not storing bank account details. It cuts down the potential for man-in-the-middle attacks, right? The potential for fraud. It puts the control in the hands of your LPs in terms of what bank accounts they're connected to, et cetera. So extremely straightforward process, about as frictionless as it can get in terms of connecting the bank. It means that when you're making capital calls, you can issue the capital calls. It's going to call that money. It's pre-approved for you to call that money from those accounts. So you can easily see that. We're also auto-reconciliation. There's also auto-reconciliation of those payments. So you're not having, as we've all experienced, your accounting team logging in every day, reconciling payments against capital calls that have been made, updating the systems. It happens automatically. And to that end, when we look at reporting in the system, Matt mentioned the improvements that we made around reporting and our dashboarding capability. On the left-hand side here, this is our capital calls reconciliation dashboard. It comes out of the box. It shows you what capital has been called, what capital has been paid. In addition to which, on the right-hand side, we've developed an extensive waterfall management capability. So for distributions on disposition of an asset, you have the opportunity to run that waterfall to get those distributions automatically calculated and for those payments to be made via Plaid. So whether it's inflows to the system or outflows in terms of distributions, we've got you covered. So we're extremely excited to launch that with Plaid. I should also say that we had the opportunity with the Plaid team to talk a little bit earlier this week about some additional functionality that's coming, which I think is very exciting as well. Perhaps you could talk about that, Riley.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Ferdy's alluding to, we have a new feature rolling out that we're happy to partner with Asset Class as one of our early adopters on this, but it's called a Remember Me feature. Essentially is leveraging the Plaid network. So if you as a consumer and then as an LP, you've connected with Plaid in the past, whether it be Venmo, Google Pay, Cash App, you name it, you have this Remember Me feature where you're able to expedite the onboarding process. So we've seen this in our early results, expedite onboarding and initial connections by up to 50%. So again, we're trying to make the money movement bank connection process as easy as possible. So we're happy to partner with them on this new feature and hope it brings great results for you guys.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Riley. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay, well, we're from 10 minutes behind. It looks like we're about 9 minutes ahead here. We do have an opportunity for some networking. I'd encourage you over lunch, which will be here in about 8 or 9 minutes outside, to grab the Asset Class team if you'd like a demonstration of anything that you've seen here this morning. As I say, extremely grateful to the entire team. Lots of people who aren't here today who put in a tremendous amount of hard work to make that a reality. Thanks very much, Matt, for all of your sterling work as well. And hopefully you guys found it as exciting to see as it was for us to bring it to you today. Thanks very much.